Hello my fellow hunters. 1 week ago I uploaded a poll where you can vote for your favorite build you want to see next. I already uploaded the Teostras X build, and now I'm gonna show you the Chammy Swaxe fashion build. If you know my Twitter account, Chammy is my favorite monster from the entire series, and I'm very glad we're now getting the Chammy X into the game, and I just love the optic of this, the design of this Switch X, and I show you a pretty good build in this video. I've done a ton of morph because of the power file. Actually there is no set builder with power prolonger support, file support, or power file multiplier or what else. So I give you a link for a set build in the description. You can use it yourself. It's a little bit complicated, but I made an explain video. And yes, don't put your data from other set builders which don't have any file support or what else. I'm gonna first show you the ramp up skill of this weapon I'm using. I'm using this weapon just for fun, not to make damage, but I show you the best possible damage build. The good thing is we have a level 3 and a level 1 slot. We can upgrade this Switch X later, so maybe later it becomes meta weapon, and I'm gonna compare it with the Nagakuga Switch X. We can use attack boost, defense boost 3, or Chameleos Jewel. Chameleos Jewel is a pretty fun skill. You can see it also then in the Summoner Conf run. Sometimes you get attack buff from plus 15 raw, or a health buff like a max potion, or a defense buff or whatever. So it's very fun to play this weapon. I think it's the funniest weapon you can play. Yes, I just like it. With the random buffs you only get 1 buff per minute, but it makes pretty much fun. Okay, first I'm gonna show you the morph, the best possible combinations. This is my set builder I have programmed myself. It took me maybe 3 or 4 days for the entire set builder, and yes, you can also use that set builder. I have created 5 different builds here. I also created builds with power prolonger, you can see here, and we are now gonna see what builds are the possible best. Yes, for the first set I used, this weapon has 0% affinity, so I used crit boost 2, critical eye 6, yes, and power prolonger maxed out, and we're doing 588 average damage with my calculator points. Yes, I tested another build with crit boost 3. I slotted out a power prolonger jewel and slotted in for crit boost, so I can max out crit boost. And yes, this set is doing about 596 damage for a cycle, for a full cycle. I'm gonna tell you about the cycle later. Cycle is very important. You can read it here. It includes also the time you need to amp your Switch X into the morph calculation. That's pretty cool. Yes, the next build I created is I only used critical boost 1, and I slotted in my skills for handicraft and protective polish, but no power prolonger. We got 603. There is also another build, so the difference between the sets is not huge, but I wanna explain you what's the best skill you can use. Yes, on the other build that's pretty much better. I slotted out a critical eye jewel, also slotted out that things you need for handicraft, and slotted in power prolonger level 1, and it does 606 damage. I think this set is pretty cool because yes, if you don't need handicraft, you can build the set. You only have to click on the weapon name, and then you can open the web page, and yes, the web page you have to click on search and it shows you the set you can create. Yes, that's pretty enjoyable, but I found a set that does by far the best damage. A tiny little bit more damage, it's 610. The other set was a little bit better for Apex monsters. You can see it does 2 more damage, but yes, all in all, if the weakness exploit can be triggered, The best build is this build. Use Wax 3, critical boost 2, crit I 4, attack boost 4. I always use attack boost 4 because for my set builder it's very easy to juggle with crit skills, but if you want to do more attack boost you have to do the full DPS test, and yes, that DPS test takes about 5 or 6 minutes. So I don't test it at actually attack boost 7. Yes, Handicraft level 1, we only need 1 level of Handicraft to reach white sharpness. Also protective polish with rapid morph is obviously a level 3 poison attack, and we're doing, yes, you can see by far the best. On the head hit zone value 945, on the body 546, and yes, on the legs 338, and that's an average of 610, and I think it's the best build you can make. Now I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the sec builder. You can use it yourself. For instance, you can put in here your weapon affinity, and now you can also change the crit skills. You can see, for instance, if I use crit I4, you can see here all the data goes up. You can see the file damage doesn't crit, files doesn't change. We can also change crit boost, for instance. You can see all values are gonna changing except the file damage. We can also change our rapid morph level. So you can see maybe here the rapid morph is extreme important. Rapid morph 3 we do 610, etc. And if we only use rapid morph, it only does 581. So see here's you can see here's a huge decrease if you don't play with maxed out rapid morph 3. Also you can change the file type. So you can see maybe if the Chameleos Waxglare were a poison file, it does theoretically 637, so it was a little bit better, but unfortunately it's a power file, so it does less damage. You can also put in here power prolonger. For instance, you can see if we play level 1 we do a little bit more, or if we play level 3 we do even more, but the other question is if we also have enough place in our set. Yes, and I also added experimental skill. You can also change the sharpness. So I made the DPS check with a white sharpness switch action. If you're too lazy you can change it here. The values are maybe a little bit wrong, but not too much. You can see if the sharpness goes blue, yes, you can see we lose a lot of damage, and that's why are we using Handicraft. You can see here white 610, blue is only 554, and if we go green it's 485. So I highly recommend using white sharpness on the switch axe. And now I'm gonna show you my set I'm using. Sorry. Yes. I've talked already about the skills we're having on our switch axe. On the Waxglare Wand, sorry, what is the correct? Okay, so on the Waxglare Wand, how is this called in English? 1, a Handicraft and a Venom Jewel 1. On the Almudron Helm S, 2 critical jewels 2. On the Vaik Mail S, 2 Tenderizer and a Venom Jewel. On our Lagombi Vambraces S, a Tenderizer and a Venom Jewel. On our Anjanath Coil S, 1 Sharp and 2 Grinder Jewels. And on our Ingot Greaves S, a Grinder Jewel level 1. On our Rapid Morph 1 Talisman, 2 Sharp Jewels 2. Yes, that was it with the set. And now I'm gonna show you a run. I think the time was pretty good for the first time, and because it's just a fashion set, yes, have fun with this hunt. And see you next time. Sorry, I forgot to compare the Chammy-Axe with the Nargacuga best Switch-Axe build. You can see I'm gonna make a short calculation here. This cell divided into this cell. So you can see the Nargacuga Switch-Axe, best possible Switch-Axe build, do 13% more damage in comparison. But you also have to say that Nargacuga is the final Switch-Axe and Chameleos isn't the final Switch-Axe. It got an upgrade in 3.0. And yes, also you can see here the best possible build is is the Apex build without on the first place. You can see here is a Knight's Crescent Elder build. I told you in the last video this set doesn't have weakness exploit, but instead attack boost 4, counter strike 3 and agitator 3. And you can see this set does even more damage than a set with Swaxe 3 Nargacuga standard raw DPS build. So you can see, for instance, on the head it does a tiny little bit less damage, but you can see if there are hit zone values by wand also under 45 where the weakness exploit can't be triggered. Yes, this build shows its true potential. You can see here it does a ton of more damage to hit zone values or below the weakness exploit threshold. So yes, the Apex or Elder set I uploaded is pretty strong. I highly recommend using this set. Counter Strike is such a cool skill. Maybe I'm also using it on Chammy-Axe. Yes, like I said, Nargacuga Switch-Axe is 13% stronger, and yes, just that was informative. See you next time.